Good morning. It is good to be with you, at least in this capacity as a video. I'm Bishop Jennifer Reddall of the Diocese of Arizona, and almost 20 years ago, I was a seminarian at St. John's in the Village. And it is a place that holds an incredible place in my heart for forming me as a priest. It's where I was a seminarian and learned so much about pastoral care and about liturgy. And when I think of you, I can see all of the icons in my mind's eye with just like that. They're all still right there at the surface. So it's a blessing to be able to share the gospel with you today. And the gospel begins with words that I desperately need to hear. Do not let your hearts be troubled. My heart is troubled. I'm sure your hearts are troubled, even more in New York than they are in Arizona. We are one step removed from the epicenter of COVID-19, but you are the epicenter. Our hearts are troubled, but the gospel continues because Jesus is helping us untrouble our hearts by sketching out for us the confident vision of a dwelling place that God has prepared for us, for each one of us, and where there is room for each one of us. I am so accustomed to hearing this gospel at funerals. It seems like many families choose this, and over the years I have noticed that often it is chosen when a family is somewhat divided on questions of faith. When either the person who has died was a person of deep faith, but their children and survivors are maybe a little less certain. And there's a sense of, oh, well, this is good. There are many dwelling places in God's kingdom. And if mom is right there in the center with Jesus, maybe there's still room for me, maybe a little further out on the edge of town. Or if the children and survivors are people of deep faith, and the person who has died is a person who was baptized and had been to church, and they want to honor their life with a Christian celebration, there's a sense that, well, there's room for dad in the heavenly kingdom. There's room for dad with Jesus. Maybe he's down the street, but he's there. There's room for him. There's room for everyone. And Jesus has gone to prepare a place for you and for me, for everyone we love, for the thousands of people who have died in the past months, and for all those who will die in the days to come. And then Jesus continues, claiming that he is the way, the truth, and the life. And in that moment, I wonder if Thomas, who is the one who asks the question that produces all of Jesus's best lines, if Thomas, who asked, show us the way, or tell me how to get there, if when Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, if Thomas understands, if we understand. I'm not sure that we totally do understand what it means that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. We know that the author of the Gospel of John is very focused on truth. This is the gospel where Pilate says to Jesus, what is truth? And the gospel where that author repeats again and again, I've seen this with my own eyes. Please, please believe me. We testify to these things because they are true, because we've seen them, and we're testifying them so that you can believe. Believe that what I see is truth. We have some experience of that need for truth in our own day, to listen to the testimony of those who experience truths that are hard to hear and hard to accept, but crucial. We need to listen to the truths of the emergency department physicians, of those who are caring for those with COVID-19, and listen to those truths and be informed by them. We need to listen to the truths of those who are grieving, who have lost people. Hard truths, but the truth. And we need to hear Jesus as the life, the one who gives life, and the one who is telling his followers to act for life. And that means sacrificing some of what we want, some of what we might be able to do on our own, on behalf of those who need our sacrifice in order to live. We are called to be people of life because Jesus is the life. But Jesus begins that triad by saying he is the way. And that's what I'd love to reflect a little bit more on with you in the context of the very generous offering you gathered during Lent for the border ministry Cruzando Fronteras. And your gift went to the Diocese of Western Mexico, who is one of our partners in Cruzando Fronteras. The other partners are the UCC Church in our area and the ELCA Grand Canyon Synod. And Cruzando Fronteras runs, at this point, just one shelter on the south side of the border. We've just moved into a new one, which is bigger and better than anything we've had before. And at La Casa, which the shelter is known as, currently we have 122 people staying, who are migrants who have come from southern Mexico and other places in Latin America, and who are hoping to apply for asylum to enter the United States. Our ministry is to be the way for them, or be part of the way for them. We are called to be way makers, to make it possible for them at this very crucial and last moment of their journey to be able to make their case to the Border Patrol and to the immigration judges that the truths that they have experienced, which are horrific, that those truths are true, and that they desire a new life in this country where they will be able to live. The truths that they tell about life where they have come from are often that it would not be possible for them to live if they stayed, because the people that they love, husbands, brothers, sons, have been killed. And so they leave. Their truths are such that it makes sense for women to pick up their 2-year-old children, put them on their backs, and walk thousands of miles. I don't know that I've ever known a truth that had that kind of effect for me. I don't know that I've ever experienced a truth that made me think that I should pack up my child, leave everyone I know, leave all security, take all the money I have and spend it on the way so that I could maybe have a better life. Our migrants are brave, they are courageous, and they are wise. And when the border is open, we are able at La Casa to provide them not just with food and clothing, though we do that as well, but also with some medical care, with ESL classes, and then we help them if they are able to cross into the United States. Our deacon, Roger Babnew, gives them his business card and tells them that wherever they end up, if they go to an Episcopal church, the Episcopal Church will be there to help them. And so we've gotten calls from all over the United States from migrants who've made it to be with family while their asylum claims are processed, able to go to their local Episcopal church and find a church home in the midst of helping them make their way. We are called to be way makers. Jesus is the way, and he is a way maker for us. He isn't just the road upon which we travel. He is the one who makes the road. He is the one who levels the mountains and builds up the valleys and gives us a way to go. Jesus is the one who, when we wander off into fields or wander off into mountains or wander off into the valley of the shadow of death, who guides us back to the way. Which means that we don't always have to know exactly where we're going. We know that Jesus is the way. We can't always see it. Our hearts are troubled. Our minds are clouded. We are tired and grieving and exhausted. And we aren't sure what way to go. But we plug on through faith. I want to close today with a prayer by Thomas Merton. My Lord God, I have no idea where I am going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end. nor do I really know myself, and the fact that I think I am following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore will I trust you always, though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone.